We all have that one family member. You know the one we dread seeing at the family gatherings, or maybe we have a family full of difficult personalities, but you've decided to get together anyway. Whether you're leaving for that gathering in a few minutes or you have some more time to prepare, I'm going to give you 6 proven strategies you can use right now to make that family gathering a more peaceful experience for all of you. Hi, I'm Megan Connor. I'm a coach and I'm the host of the Midlife Revolution podcast, where I help people make small changes that improve the quality of their lives. I've spent the last 10 years healing from toxic family dynamics, and I share what I've learned here on my channel to help other beautiful humans like you navigate interactions with the difficult people in your life. I have an e-course launching on January 7th that will cover this topic comprehensively during 8 live sessions where we'll deep dive into family roles and relationships and proven strategies for dealing with all the difficult personalities in your life, taking you from dreading those interactions to feeling empowered and peaceful no matter the situation. The link below will take you to the registration page, and I'm offering a 50% discount to anyone who registers before midnight on Cyber Monday. So let's get into the 6 quick strategies you can use right now to have a peaceful experience with that difficult person you've been dreading. First of all, let's set an intention for this interaction. What is your ideal end goal? What do you want the outcome to be? Now, this is not the time to get too ambitious, especially if establishing good boundaries is new for you. When I'm thinking about a family gathering, particularly if it's at holiday time, for me, the most basic goal is just to have a peaceful interaction and enjoy the people I love. Unfortunately, sometimes there's that one or maybe several difficult personalities who will also be in attendance, and sometimes they just want to live in chaos. So they try to take all of us there with them. But if my goal is to have a peaceful time, that means I have to be prepared to deal with some strategies when things go sideways, which they often do at holiday time. For some reason, there's this idea that holidays have to be perfect. And for me, I would much rather just have them be peaceful because they're never going to be perfect. So the second strategy is to set a time limit. If you know that an hour of family time is all you can handle, plan to arrive as close to mealtime as possible and set an alarm for an hour. When the hour is up, excuse yourself, say thank you, and leave. Now, I realize this is a lot easier said than done, especially in some family situations where there are previous expectations. It might take some advanced preparation for you and some teaching your family members how you would like to be treated. For example, when you arrive, you could privately say to the host, "Thank you so much for having me. I have a hard stop in 1 hour and I'm going to have to leave no matter what." Then when the hour's up, you can say, "Thank you. I'm sorry it was such a short visit this time. I'll look forward to seeing you all again soon." You can come up with the words and phrases that make the most sense for you in this situation, but we're going to talk later about why it's important to be concise with those things. Now, I don't mean to be simplistic, because if this is the first time you're setting some boundaries for yourself, there's probably going to be some pushback. There may be some judgment, some shaming, guilt tripping, etc., that goes on. But that brings us to strategy number 3. Remind yourself that adults are in charge of their own expectations and emotions. It's not your responsibility to manage anyone else's expectations or anyone else's emotions. Your only job is to manage your own. I've found that many times people have an expectation of me that they have not clearly communicated in advance. And it's not my responsibility to guess what that expectation may be. It's their responsibility to communicate clearly. For example, you may say, "Well, if I leave early, Mom's going to be upset because she expects me to help clean up and stay for dessert and maybe games and on and on." Well, if Mom has not specifically asked you to stay for a certain period of time or to help clean up or given you an assignment of any kind, then you're both making an assumption of what's expected rather than communicating clearly. So you could say to Mom on arrival, "I need to leave in about an hour, so I won't be able to stay for dessert this time." If she expresses disappointment, you can agree with her sympathetically. "Well, that's disappointing." "Yeah, it is." You don't need to have any further discussion or argument or debate about it. And this folds us right into strategy number 4. The trick to successful boundary setting for me is to be as brief and non-specific as possible. You don't owe anyone an explanation for why you're doing what's best for you and your mental health. When we give controlling people too much information, they can use that information to impose further expectations on us or to try to make us feel guilty for letting them down. For example, if you have to say, I have to leave in an hour, and that's all you say, it's surprising and mysterious. But if you say, I have to leave in an hour because I really want to watch the game, they could come back with, well, why don't you just watch the game online later? That puts you in the awkward position of having to come up with another reason why you have to leave. And that can go sideways pretty fast when you're dealing with manipulators. Remember that no is a complete sentence, and you don't need a reason for saying no. This is not a debate. You're not negotiating what is best for you. And that happens to be strategy number 5. Throughout difficult interactions, I'm always asking myself, what's the most loving thing that I can do for myself? Asking this question reminds me that when I take care of my needs and my mental health, I'm a better human being for everyone else. I can't be a good mom, sister, daughter, or partner if I'm constantly denying my own needs in order to avoid disappointing other people. Controlling and manipulative people purposely make it difficult and uncomfortable for us to choose our needs over theirs. That's their whole game plan. They want you working for their approval. And as long as that's your goal, rather than self-care, they're stealing your time and your peace. Now, before I get to strategy number 6, please take a second to subscribe to the channel so you can get more content like this. Over half of the people who watch the channel are not subscribed, and it's the best free way to make sure that I can keep making content that will help you have a more peaceful life. If you find this video helpful, please hit the like and please share it with someone else you know who needs to see it. So the final point I want to discuss is that setting boundaries and expectations with difficult people is really hard work. And if this is your first time doing it, you will need to learn to let some things go. Remember that the intention or the goal that we set was to have a peaceful interaction. The goal is not to change anyone's opinion of you or to get them to like you or respect you or treat you better. The goal is not to win an argument. It's not to convince anyone that you're right about something. The goal is peaceful. That means reminding yourself that no matter what happens, it's okay. If someone yells, it's okay. You can excuse yourself. If someone is disappointed, it's okay. They're an adult. They'll get over it. If someone talks about you negatively because you left early, it's okay. They'll learn that you have limits. Usually someone's negative reaction to your boundary setting is either that they're jealous that you set a boundary and they didn't because they haven't learned how to do that yet, or they're upset because that boundary prevents them from getting what they want out of the interaction. In either case, their negative reaction is not your responsibility. Now, these are just a few quick fix, sticky bandage solutions that have worked for me before jumping into the fire with a difficult person. Obviously, family dynamics and roles are much more complicated and nuanced. And those are exactly the ideas I'm going to dive into in my 8-week live webinar starting on January 7th. Remember that the link is right below, and register early for that 50% discount. In the next videos, we'll be moving beyond that baseline goal of just having a peaceful interaction to some of the more ambitious goals I mentioned, like establishing mutual respect and managing expectations. But until then, remember to choose the option that is the most loving thing for yourself. Be good to yourself first, and then you can be good to others. Take care.